Welcome to the Sacred Success Summit, where you access the secrets to sacred success and become even more of the goddess you've always known you were. Your host for this session is Candace McKim. Candace is a #1 international bestselling author, TEDx speaker, and renowned intuitive manifestation coach, known for her vibrant approach to helping purpose-driven women manifest more income and impact sustainably. Co-creator of this summit, Candace is eager to introduce another inspirational guest. Take it away, Candace.
Welcome everybody. I have the honor of interviewing Jackie Mott. And I am so excited about this, Jackie, because I just know you on a different level after you coming to our Hawaii retreat. And I just know how much of a pro you are, but how powerful your message is. So Jackie's talk title is Choosing Life After Divorce. It's Time to Rise and Thrive. Welcome, Jackie.
Thank you. I'm so excited. You have no idea, Candace. I'm so excited to be here with you.
I believe it because I know how excited we get. You and I both. All right, let me introduce you properly. Jackie's husband. Oh, is that at the beginning? Okay, when Jackie's husband ended their 27-year relationship without warning, that conversation became her own personal ground zero. It was necessary to clear the rubble, learn who she truly was, and completely rebuild her life. To do that, Jackie had to challenge a lifetime's worth of conditioning and limiting beliefs and recreate herself from the ground up. Now she's created a life that is more than she'd have believed was possible, and it's become her mission to support others in doing the same. All right, welcome. I'll take my glasses off again. Welcome. All right, so just dive right in, Jackie, and just start telling everybody how you got to where you are and your journey.
So we got a bit of a limited time, so I'm going to try and be brief, but the main impetus for this talk was exactly what you talked about. So I had been involved with my ex-husband now for 27 years. We had lived in the same home for over 20, I think it was 22 or 23 years. So that meant that this person had been part of my everyday life, the person that you talk to about whatever, the person you celebrate with, the person you go to for comfort, the person that you talk through those things that you're trying to work through. And one day, 9 days before my income tax deadline, because I also have an income tax and accounting business, 9 days before.
So stressful period of time.
Oh no.
No, but right, like it's tax season. It's
right
for you. Yeah.
Right. And also, I just realized this the other day when I was preparing for my talk, also the anniversary of the day that we had buried my sister a few years earlier. I got up that morning and I was so tired. I was so tired because that's what happens, right? You go. You've got this deadline, you've got clients, you've got all of these things that have to be done. I was so tired, but I kept saying to myself, okay, just a few more days, just like every other year, just a few more days. We're going to get there. You're almost there. You can do this. And so there's that internal dialogue going. I got up that morning and went up into the living room where my husband was sitting, and he was on his phone. I said good morning, gave him a hug and a kiss. And then when I said to him, hey, we really haven't spent much time together lately. I've got time tonight. Do you want to go and see a show or something? I mean, I didn't have a lot of energy, but let's go see a movie or go grab some dinner or something to spend some time together.
Yeah.
And responded with, I know the timing sucks, but there's something I've been wanting to talk to you about. And from there, he went on to tell me that although he loved me, he was no longer in love with me. And he wasn't happy in our marriage. He wasn't interested in trying to work things out or going for counseling or anything of that nature. And I got to be honest with you. I just had an epiphany last night after the first day of the summit.
Right.
I had seen this coming. I mean, I knew that there was a disconnect between. I didn't expect that this was going to happen. And I certainly didn't expect that someone who cared about me was going to do this on that day, right?
Right,
Because
right.
that just seemed to me to be just so unkind,
Hmm.
to choose that day to drop this bomb.
Yeah, mean.
What I
Seems
realized, what I realized last night, Candace, and this was as a result of watching all of you speak yesterday,
yeah.
was the story, the upset was mostly about when and how
Oh.
he,
Mm.
and what
Oh,
I
wow.
recognized last night was that if he had waited 2 weeks until, I was past my deadline and I had a little bit of space, I feel like it would have been a completely different conversation.
Okay. Wow. So
Really
timing.
interesting.
Mm.
Really
Yeah.
interesting. So that led to it just got I'm sorry because I don't like this word, but it did get really stupid the
Mm.
way that things went from that moment. And very interesting because we didn't really have a lot to fight about.
Right.
Really didn't have a lot to fight about. And when I watched Samantha and I read Samantha's book, and this idea of a natural completion,
Hmm.
just a space of, okay, we've served our purpose in each other's lives,
Yeah.
and now I wish you well, I wish you happiness, I wish you love, and I so wish that we've been able to do that.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people can relate to that. Like I know with my own first marriage, right? There was just a completion. It was just like, it's done. And I was even telling somebody this morning that um, I would go back to, I would go back home and be around my friends that knew me married. And they'd ask about him and ask about that. And I'm like, oh man, wow. Okay. That was just so complete. It was so done. Right.
Mhm.
That whole relationship. It was like, yeah, so and they would draw me back, but I wasn't there anymore because I moved
Right,
on and yeah. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for me, it didn't work quite that way because I got really angry
Mm,
and things got hurt and a bunch of other stuff, and it dragged on for over 5 years. So we just actually finalized everything last summer. Hallelujah. And the really beautiful thing that I'm finding at this phase of my life is now that all of the ugly is over,
mhm,
some of those last pieces of healing, those last pieces of grief are able to come to the surface because I'm no longer in battle mode.
mm.
So
Wow.
now I'm actually completing my healing and coming to a place where I can appreciate what we were to each other, and I can appreciate the life we shared, and laugh about the funny stories again, and like how
Yeah.
beautiful to come to a place where you can honor
Yeah.
them and yourself.
Yeah. So let's go
Mhm.
into your first
Ooh.
mind shift that you want to talk about. So how to get to that place of rise and thrive.
Right. So the first one that I want to share with you is you may have been taught, and if you're with us on the chat, I'd really love to hear how many of you can relate to what I'm saying right now. But you
Mhm,
may have been taught that ending a marriage is wrong. Can
mhm,
anyone relate to this?
mhm.
In vows, you have made promises, you have made commitments. Can anybody else understand that?
Or you're the first one in your family out of 3 generations that is doing it. That was me.
Okay. So this is really quite impactful, right? This idea. And I didn't even understand how attached I was. So I want to tell you why that bit of information is actually incorrect. It's actually wrong. Because here, and I've already sort of touched on it a little bit in what I've said already, but there's a thing that we have, this idea that we have. And I had a show for a number of years, and the show was so healing for me because as I would be talking on the show, these things would come up for me, and I'd be like, oh, that's interesting. And it really helped me to work through my stuff. So one day I was on the show and I realized, wait, hold on. How many people do I know who have been, in long-term relationships and marriages that
Mhm,
just cannot even stand each other anymore?
mm,
How many people do I know And I don't feel like we had ever gotten to that point, but we certainly weren't serving each other in a really healthy way anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we've got this idea that longevity is the thing that shows that we have been successful in our marriage,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
The truth is that the relationship is successful when it is supportive and fulfilling to both parties. And
Mhm.
when that is no longer the case, then you start to get into these really unhealthy dynamics, you know, and you can start to feel bitter. You can start to feel like taken advantage of almost in some ways. And
Resentful.
for me, that is definitely what happened. I can't say for him because honestly, we've never actually talked about it. But I
Yeah, and I
know,
think a lot of people, they think it's almost like you get a badge of honor the longer the year, like the more the years. I remember actually I was with there was four of us, and I was married 1 year younger than a friend of mine, and then the other lady was married 2 years, because I've been married now coming up to 28 years, 2 years longer. And the other one was around the same amount. And the one friend was asking them what helped them have such a long marriage. And I said, how come you're not asking me? She goes, well, you've been divorced. And I'm like, I'm still in a 27-year marriage. Like, yeah, okay, I had a blurb. Like I had a blurb there, but because it was like, but you didn't get divorced. And I'm like, what? So there's like this badge of honor, right? That you
right,
had, you have all the numbers behind you, but are they healthy, right?
right. Is the duration really, I mean, I also know couples who I look at them and I just think, oh my, I want what you've got. I want what
Say that
you've
again.
got. I want what you've got.
Mm,
Because they're 20 years in and they're still loving each other,
hmm.
and honoring each other and all of that kind of stuff. So, in my humble opinion, the duration it's a flawed measurement. It's a flawed measurement tool. And what we really need to be focusing on is the fulfillment, the happiness, the support, all of those yummy, juicy things that are part of a healthy relationship. Those are
Hmm.
the things we need to be focusing on. And when we come to a place, because we all grow and change, right? We all become something different. And that was one of the things he said to me that morning was, you're not the woman I married anymore.
Mm.
And he wasn't wrong.
And
He
you're like,
wasn't
no, hell no. I thank you.
right. Right.
Thank you. I'm
So
glad I'm not the same person because
exactly.
it's been 27 years.
I was 19 years old when we met, man. Come on. Right?
Yeah.
Like no, that's not even real. No, that's not how I want to live. So we grow and change. And one of the things that I think, we count on that this person is going to be able to meet our needs. And as our needs change over time, maybe they're just not the right person for that anymore.
Hmm.
We
Yeah.
change energy into the like, maybe we've served our purpose in each other's lives.
Yeah.
Thank you
Yeah.
for what you brought to mine. I hope mine has been good for you. And I wish you well.
Yeah. All right. Go into your second one.
Second one, you may have been feeling that you don't know how to do life without your spouse or that your life is over.
Yeah.
Anybody relate to that? I know that, oh, that was huge for me because he
Yeah.
was so intertwined.
Hmm.
All of my goals, all of my dreams, all of my hopes were about our life, our future,
Right. 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 Yeah.
right? So you
Yeah.
may be feeling like that. Anybody relate?
Yes.
Right, right. Here's why that's wrong.
Hmm.
Why that's wrong. There's a few different reasons that we're going to touch on here, but one of them is I really love to operate from choice. So we always have a choice. We may not have a choice in the circumstance that we're faced with, or what has happened, or even what someone has done to us, which, by the way, is not a terribly healthy way to operate.
Right.
But I've been there and I've done it. So no judgment from me. But we always have a choice in how we respond and how we react.
Hmm.
We can choose to look at our lives and say, oh, Lord, love me. It's all over. I don't know what to do now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's okay in the short term. In the short term, because we have to adjust and we have to give ourselves some space and some time to sort things through and figure things out. That's all okay. Where it becomes a problem is when we unpack and live there.
Yeah. Yeah. And it
That's
takes
where
us so out of our comfort zone, right? And that's not a bad thing, right? That's not a bad thing to be taken out of your comfort zone, because then you step more into life, you step more into thriving and creating a more thriving life, because everything becomes new.
right.
Yeah.
So
That's not a bad thing.
your choice at that moment is
Yeah.
I'm going to continue to look at my life as though it's over, or I'm going to allow myself to get curious about what has now opened up.
Yes.
Possibilities are there now that they're never.
Mic drop. Say that one again. Say that again, Jackie.
What possibilities are there for me that were never available? What has this difficult circumstance opened up and made possible?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
That's your choice. You can one or the other. You can't do both.
Yep.
You can,
Exactly.
and the other I want to touch on quickly, because I know we have this much time, but
yeah, go to the third one.
Okay. Oh, you want to go right into third? Awesome.
Oh, sorry, whatever you're doing, go into the next point.
So the other point to that is, and I want you to really just be with me for this one, because you already have a 100% success rate at surviving every difficult thing that has ever come your way.
Yeah.
And it might hurt, it might be difficult, it might take you some time to adjust. That's all okay. You have already survived everything else, and there are only two options. You will survive this or you won't. And if you don't survive it, it's probably not going to matter much anyway.
Love it. I got chills. All right, go to your third point, or your third shift.
Third point. I love this one. People will tell you that trauma is the reason that you're suffering. So the trauma of what happened, the trauma of that conversation, the trauma of the timing of it, the trauma of finding out about the other woman a week later, the trauma of, people will tell you that that is the reason that you're suffering. Would you like to? That's not true.
Yes.
All right. Your trauma is a thing that happened. You get to choose the story that you tell yourself. You get to choose whether you're going to unpack and live there, or you're going to get on with the business of building a life that you will love based on what you want, not on what they think or what they say or what they do, not on the circumstances that you come out of, but on, oh my God, you now have the option to start all over again. Put all of that behind you, create something. I never would have expected that I would be in Hawaii with you in January.
I know. That was amazing.
How
you manifested that.
And what I realized after I got home, Candace, that was the fourth trip that involved air travel for me inside a year.
Wow.
10 years ago, that would never have been on my radar.
Right.
So you get to choose what's going to make you happy. What's going to bring.
So the trauma is an experience that you went through. Horrific, right? Horrific experiences that we've all experienced, right? And wouldn't wish on anybody else in the world. And yet that's what you're saying, is the trauma is separate from who you are.
Right.
Yeah.
So you get to choose. Are you going to buy into the story that you have been, what is the word? You've been betrayed. You have been treated poorly or in a way that and honest to God, I am not judging anybody, because I lived there for a little while. I was so hurt and so angry.
Yeah.
How could you do this to me? How could you do this to me on that day?
Yeah. And I think a lot of people can relate to that, where we've lived in that story. I remember when I was going through my first divorce, and somebody saying to me, you don't have to have any more excuses for why you left him, right? Because you're trying to make sense of it, right?
Right.
And they said to me, you don't have to have any more excuses for why you left, and because I was in that story, stuck in that story,
Yeah, absolutely. And
trying to explain it.
it's a normal thing to I think experience again in the short term, because one of the things that I was really wrestling with as I was preparing for this talk is that there is truth to so many of these things, and
Mhm.
yet your key to your freedom is the choice.
Right.
You make a decision on how you want your life to be, and then you follow that.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is mindset, right?
Oh,
We can choose to have this negative thought or this think of our experiences in this way, or we can choose to have these thoughts and these explanations for this experience in this way. Like we have that
right.
choice, is what you're saying. Yeah, I love that. That's powerful. That's really, really powerful, Jackie.
And
Yeah.
one last thing that I want to share on that note is that we can choose to perceive this as something that has been done to us.
Mhm.
We can also choose to look at it from a space of this is the greatest gift and the final act of love
Yeah.
from that person.
Yeah.
Walked away. I was so tied up in those vows and so, you know, stuck in
Mhm.
that life, I would not have walked away.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, let's share your gift. The 5
Ooh,
reasons you need to be a top priority in your own life. Hell yes.
yes.
So drop the link in there, and it's already in there. Yeah, tell everybody what that's about, what that your
So
free gift is.
that one is really fun for me because I wrote that one several years ago, and I've rewritten it a few times, as I've grown and shifted.
Yeah.
And it talks about the idea that, we don't always put ourselves in a position of importance in our own
Mm.
lives. Women are notoriously bad. I don't even understand exactly what that is. I don't know if that's that nurturing thing or how we're conditioned.
It's lifetimes of being taught. That's how we have to do
Right.
it.
Right.
Yeah.
So what we fail to understand is that by exhausting ourselves and putting all of our resources toward other people's happiness and draining ourselves consistently and consistently and consistently, we're doing ourselves and maybe even more important, the people that we love the most, a disservice.
Service. Yeah.
We're doing them a disservice because we have less to give them than when we take time and do things that fill us back up. So that article, that ebook, I don't even know what to call it, but that is all about why and how.
Okay, tell everybody about
Why?
your VIP gift. Ignite
Right.
your Soulful Fire Kickstart package.
Yes. So Ignite Your Soulfire Kickstart package is actually, you're going to get some one-on-one time with me. So we're going to do an assessment,
Okay.
and I'm going to spend an hour with whoever wants to book that call. We are going to get some clarity on where you are, where you're happy, where you're satisfied, where you're not so much satisfied. And then we are going to create a plan together to help you to start creating that life that you will love, just like me with getting.
That's amazing. Amazing. Such a huge offer, such a huge gift. So make sure you grab your VIP upgrade if you haven't already. If you have, go in and get Jackie's VIP gift, Ignite Your Soul Fire Kickstart package, as well as there's still an opportunity to donate to build a village, and the donation link is there. Last words of wisdom. I think we got about 2 seconds. Go quick.
You've got this. You've got this, and you deserve to have everything that you desire in life. So go get it.
Love that. You got this. Thanks, Jackie. So good.
Thank you all.
Thank you for joining us for another amazing session on the Sacred Success Summit. For more information or to apply to be a speaker at one of our upcoming events, email our team at breakthrough@clarityconfidenceconnection.com. Now, tune in to another transformational speaker.